Hi, I'm George Crump, lead analyst with Storage Switzerland. Thank you for joining us today. Well, today we've got a bit of news. Commvault is making or has made a major acquisition. So joining me on the Lightboard to discuss this news is Don Foster from Commvault. Don, thanks for joining us today.
Hey, thanks for the invite.
Well, this is kind of a big one. Who are you guys acquiring?
Yeah, exciting times. So the company that we are announcing that we are acquiring is Hedvig.
Okay, Hedvig, major player in the software-defined storage space. Why don't you explain to the folks kind of what Hedvig does?
Yeah, absolutely. So the CEO of Hedvig, Avinash Lakshman, he's the founder or the father of Cassandra, and also helped develop DynamoDB from Amazon. And so he's basically taken these technologies and really defined a really solid software-defined storage system that's perfect for using secondary storage use cases, as well as for mapping storage to containers and virtualized environments as well.
Yeah, and it's got quite a pedigree there with that background.
Absolutely.
So yeah, and we've covered Hedvig a lot in our on our site as well. So we're very impressed with the technology. Why now? Why is it important for you guys to make this acquisition now?
Yeah, so I mean, this acquisition is really important because we see this as a way that we can accelerate the vision that we've had going forward. We also see that customers are having challenges, obviously, with a large amount of data fragmentation that's occurring inside of their environments. We see that they're using a number of different solutions. And we also see this as a way to really pull together the strategy of where software-defined storage can really fit inside of a solid data management platform to kind of meet some of those consolidation, fragmentation challenges that customers are trying to meet.
So Don, as the acquisition kind of comes to completion, what's the plan for the product?
Yeah, so great. So I mean, obviously, Hedvig has a current business that's going. So I think the first thing that we want to do is to continue to put some more feet on the street for how secondary storage offerings, great TCO, low cost across commodity gear, whether it's for Commvault solutions or other solutions that are out there, help to take the secondary storage environment and really kind of consolidate that into a cost-effective tier. Current business that Hedvig is already working with today, and of course, together with that secondary storage, also focus on new container environments.
Yeah, I knew they were making some progress in that space.
Absolutely, and of course, with that is also some basic virtualization and virtualization solutions that they kind of help customers map into, whether it's in a dev test scenario or whether it's something that's running for production. The idea here is to really ensure that we can sell the value of what the software-defined storage platform means for customers and how we can really drive some success for customers in those areas.
Okay, and I would assume in many cases you guys are in those situations just as your normal workflow anyways, right?
As a part of a conversation, customers are always curious about, okay, what infrastructure should I be thinking about for managing my data? What other options can I use for how I use data to drive DevOps processes and really improve maybe some of those next generation applications that they're building? So it's a perfect fit to tie in how we're managing data, landing it to storage, consolidating some of those backend infrastructures, and then even being able to serve that back up for other use cases.
Okay, that makes sense. And then, so you talked a little bit about the vision. Where does this start to fit in as we look further out down the road?
Yeah, so I think the next piece here, as we think about this, is the merging. And I'll just write merge experience here, right? So if you think about an acquisition, the most important piece here is to ensure that the two companies now start to operate as one. And so merging the experience that Commvault has offered, we want to ensure we merge that with exactly how customers will deploy, use, and integrate a Hedvig infrastructure together with our software as well. So we find it to be very important to ensure that from support to installation to how you go from storage to data management and back and forth, that experience is very similar. So while we're continuing to put some focus on that secondary storage space, we want to ensure that experience becomes normalized and that these start to look like a single product offering that Commvault's now offering to a customer.
Okay, that makes sense. So you also talked about how Hedvig can help you guys accelerate the vision. How does that help?
Yeah, so the third point here is exactly that. It's vision and what our vision has always been. And if you kind of look even at the recent history, even with Commvault Hyperscale, we have seen that this vision of being able to take software-defined storage and applying it into data management and giving that converged approach to data management from on-premises to the cloud is incredibly important.
Okay.
So essentially by taking the Hedvig technology and starting to integrate that together with the Commvault data platform and the technology that we have in managing information from on-premises to the cloud, we really see this as a really solid convergence and really the next step in evolution in how hyperscale is developed, in how our platform continues to evolve, and in how we help customers simplify management of data, whether they're in containers, whether it is in the cloud, whether it's still on premises, even back to things like mainframe, bringing all of this back together for them in a simple and converged vision that's done through a single product.
And then, yeah, and this gives you sort of that missing element then in that overall strategy, right? Because now you control that IP, so to speak.
Absolutely, and it becomes all one Commvault then from that front, from storage all the way to how you manage and use the data in the cloud or on premises.
Well, and I think kind of an important element of that kind of pops in my head is if we talk about all the way to the cloud and merging and things like that, and automation becomes a big thing. How about like merging API sets and things like that?
So the API piece is then the next key thing to think about as you see how these two technologies come together, right? So whether it's in containers and virtualization, whether it's from a storage perspective, whether it's for how you're serving data back, driving governance, compliance, GDPR, all this needs to be done through some form of API, right? It's more about linking together different platforms and making that data available. And what better than to have a software-defined storage company that has a full set of APIs, together with the data management platform with a full set of APIs, to help link information back for new application development, or for doing different governance, different compliance routines, or to change the way IT is consolidating and restructuring their secondary storage environments. These APIs will essentially make that a lot easier, and it will make the management of data across multiple platforms that much more simplified as well.
Yeah, and we're seeing a big focus from organizations now being placed on automation, getting that done. And so obviously if you're going to focus on automation, you need API sets to get that done.
Yeah,
right?
Absolutely. And again, software-defined storage makes it easy for you to provision, just like you would expect in the cloud. It provides that cloud-like experience on premises. You tap that into what is a very fast-growing secondary storage marketplace. When you can combine that with a data management approach that Commvault's had, and the experience becomes really simplified, and then you realize that, wow, there's the APIs to simplify how I can serve data and hand it back and forth and do it all within the software-defined system. Essentially, this helps play out the vision that we see. We see it playing towards the challenges our customers are facing with fragmentation of data all over different environments, potentially, explosion of different solutions to support that, and allow them to kind of pull that back in so that they can get better control of their data.
So Don, to summarize here, if you look at this acquisition, you guys acquiring Hedvig, how do you think this impacts the rest of the market? How do they need to respond?
Great. I mean, from our perspective, the bar has been raised. And I think this is really important because as we see customers continue to move to the cloud, build new modern applications, still maintain what they have on premises, still have to map and understand how their remote users on the edge, how data is being created. They're looking to vendors to provide a more converged, consolidated experience to really simplify this crazy fragmentation that's happening across our IT landscape and help them simplify this and take better control. Because as we know, most IT shops don't really have the people to continue managing all these solutions. The complexity is almost untenable. And so it's good to have a solution that's truly consolidating, collapsing a lot of that complexity down. And that's why we think we're raising the bar. Okay,
well, that sounds good. Where can people go to get more information, or when will you be releasing more details?
Yeah, so absolutely go to Commvault.com. Also, you can go to Hedvig.io, their website as well. There'll be a wealth of knowledge there on both products, also with some blogs that are coming out on what this truly means. But even better, if you're a Commvault customer, or you might become a Commvault customer, you're thinking about being a Commvault customer or a Hedvig customer. We have our Commvault customer conference annually that's occurring in October. It's in Denver, Colorado. And we're absolutely going to be showcasing the Hedvig technology, the Commvault technology, talking about how these two things coming together is a better experience for the customer, how we're raising the bar in the marketplace, and really, like I say, setting that new standard for the expectations that customers have with their vendors and how we're going to deliver them back to them.
Great. Well, Don, thanks for letting us sharing your guys' news today.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. So there you have it. Pretty big news. Commvault has acquired Hedvig. I think it really kind of changes the landscape in data protection to a degree and sets a new standard that other companies are going to need to have to look at as far as delivering this holistic experience to their customers. I'm George Crump, lead analyst with Storage Switzerland. Thank you for joining us.